Simu Liu, who is calling out studios. It's funny, I was talking about I'm tired of the studio thing, and now we got to get into this mess. So yeah, Simu Liu is kind of pissed off and at the industry for the lack of Asian representation in film. So Chinese-born Canadian Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ring star Simu Liu has put Hollywood on blast for what he refers to as backsliding on Asian representation. Well, child, ever since they got rid of that, the DEI stuff, they backslide on a lot of people. It's not just y'all. But I get it. Asian people are getting even lesser roles than black people. Black people had to fight long and hard for that. I know Latinos are barely getting represented, which is why a lot of times when you do see Latin people, I think for the most part, they end up some of them, as you've seen, will play white characters because the complexion. So they can get away with like playing a white character. People like Jennifer Lopez, people like what the hell that Oscar Isaac playing Dr. Frankenstein in the Frankenstein movie, and he's from where's he from? Guatemala. And Pedro Pascal is the main one. He plays, he does play Latin roles, but for the most part, he does play a lot of white characters. Most recently, Reed Richards in uh Fantastic Four. But to get back to this, but let's get back to what Simu had to say. The actor has never been shy about speaking his mind on social media, took to threads to call out the double standard he feels exists in the movie industry, which allows white actors to fail upwards by continuing to land highly sought after roles despite their film losing money for the studio. Well, sir, welcome to the club because I've been screaming this from the rooftop for years, but let's get into what he had to say. He said, put some Asians in literally anything right now, Lou said in response to another post calling for Hollywood to cast more Asian male actors as romantic leads in movies. The amount of backslide in our representation on screen is fucking appalling. Studios think we are risky. Well, as I've been saying, black people have been dealing with this for years. You know how many times black actors have been told that they can't sell a movie overseas? People like Denzel Washington, people like Halle Berry, people like Samuel L. Jackson, Will Smith, I'm sure was told that too, and then he proved them wrong. But there's been a lot of black actors who were told over the years, and that's why I said join the club, sir. It's just people of color in general. They always think white is right and white is all that sells, and it's like it's not true. But if that was the case, then why was Crazy Rich Asians a huge hit? Why was Shang-Chi a huge hit? And we still waiting on the damn sequel. Why we haven't gotten a sequel? I like the movie, and the movie did fairly well at the box office. How many roles have Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney gotten, and nobody cared? Speaking of which, I'm like, wait, do I have that article? I think I forgot to add that up in here. I may have to look that up when I'm done with this topic because I do want to bring that story up. Speaking of, oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, so let's get back to what he had to say. So they said, despite the perceived risk, Liu mentioned several movies featuring Asian leads that proved to be massive box office hits, including Minari, Farewell, Past Lives, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Yeah, I forgot about that movie. And that was a huge hit and won a bunch of Oscars. Crazy Rich Asians, as I mentioned, and of course, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Well, you need to scream at big head ass Kevin Feige and ask him what the hell is taking this damn Shang-Chi movie so long. You want to focus on a bunch of people we don't give a damn about. Like, how many Ant-Man movies have we gotten that have been mid at the box office and they still kept making them? Every single one is a financial success, he added. No Asian actor has ever lost a studio even close to $100 million, but a white dude will lose 200 million twice and roll right into the next tentpole lead. We're fighting a deeply prejudiced system, and most days it sucks. Liu was far from the first actor to raise these concerns, and it's difficult to argue with the perception that studios are far less concerned about diversity in their movies these days. Now, Shang-Chi will appear, he has mentioned that he is an Avengers Doomsday, because he has been kind of talking a bit about it. And they said a recent report claimed that Liu was originally going to play a major role in the Kang dynasty prior to the project being revamped. And y'all already know why it was revamped. They tried to say, oh, it's because we already had this in the bag. I mean, we already had these plans that we were going to bring Robert Downey Jr. back as Dr. Doom and stuff. I call BS on that. I don't think that was ever the plan. The plan was they were going to use Kang. The problem was Kang was wasted in that third Ant-Man movie. That movie was god awful. And then y'all had him in the last season of Loki, which I didn't like what y'all was doing with him in that either. And so Jonathan Majors was trying to do what he could do the best with that part. And the writers just fucked that up. And not only that, But there was also Jonathan Major's personal stuff that he had going on, which hurt the DCU, the MCU, and they didn't want to be connected with all of that. They were trying to distance themselves from that drama, because you know how Hollywood is. So in a in a way, Simu got hit with a stray because of the other people, but still, you could utilize him. There should have been y'all should have had a Shang-Chi out eons ago. But this is the same studio that can't figure out how to make a goddamn Blade movie work. So why are we surprised that the lack of the lack of representation for Asian people? And I would sit and say though, why don't you go and try to produce these type of films and fuck Hollywood? Go to your hometown, your home of Canada, and see if you can scrounge up some money and get more into them. Because here's the thing: closed mouths don't get fed, and I'm glad you're speaking out. But getting in your producer bag, figure out how you can scrounge up some money to make that lead Asian romantic comedy movie that you want to make, or that action movie that you want to make. I mean, Louis Tan got a movie out that I'm actually looking forward to seeing with Kate Beckinsale. I rented that. I forgot what it was called. I think it was called Wildcat. That's getting pretty interesting reviews. It's available on Prime Video, and it's getting relatively good review. I like Louis Tan. First of all, he's a good looking man. Number two, I like him because he does martial arts and stuff. And I didn't like what they did with the whole Cole Young character over there in the Mortal Kombat movies, which he is going to be in the second one. But for the most part, I'm actually looking forward to seeing that movie. Y'all know I'm a big Kate Beckinsale fan, so anything she's in, even if the movie is not that great, I'm going to watch. I love me some Celine. She'll always be Celine to me. So. um Now they also said that according, I want to see if I don't want to reread the same thing over and over. Okay, so they said according to Inverse, in the original plan of Avengers 5, then called Kang Dynasty, Shang-Chi would have been one of the film's main leads. Marvel was forced to make some big changes to the story following Kang actor Jonathan Major's assault conviction, and we got word during last year's San Diego Comic-Con that the movie is now titled Avengers Doomsday, with Tony Stark actor Robert Downey Jr. set to make his MCU return as Victor Von Doom. And I said this is literally a Hail Mary. They're desperate. They were trying to find a way to zhuzh up this franchise because post Endgame, MCU kind of been slipping. So now we got to dig into our old bag of tricks, our old bag of desperate tricks, and let's bring back Robert Downey Jr. to save this franchise. Y'all better hope and pray y'all got a good one on y'all hands. So if it don't work, then y'all are doomed, or you're screwed, or you're cooked. There's so many different iterations we could say y'all are fucked. Now, Shang-Chi is still expected to be a fairly important part of the story, but it sounds like his role may have just been significantly reduced. Well, we won't know until we see Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. And if he is significantly reduced and wasted, you already know I'm gonna come on this show and bitch and moan about it. So there should have been a way that y'all should have really judged up Shang-Chi. Simu is a charismatic actor. I like the fact that he's outspoken in real life. And, some people said that, oh, this is your karma for some things that you said in the past about certain. I'm like, I don't know about all of that. All I know is I'm glad that he's speaking out and calling out Hollywood on their BS. So congratulations to you. And speaking of which, because like he said, people get to fail upwards. All these white people get so many opportunities. There was a story that I totally forgot to bring up, and it was regarding Sydney Sweeney, because she has a new movie coming out called The Housemaid. And they basically said that movie is going to be a big hit or whatever. I think actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn this into a topic. So Um, in the meantime, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? I definitely want to hear from y'all regarding what Simu had to say. Do you agree with him? But I also think, like, I mean, I'm assuming that he has other business endeavors and he's been out here producing and stuff. But if he's not, because I don't know, off the top of my head, I haven't looked into it. So get into your producer bag. And we definitely want to see if you got what it takes to produce. Because I always say, don't sit around waiting for Hollywood to develop or create projects. Sometimes you got to get your hands dirty and create the path that you want to have on your own. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.